Hi, thanks for tuning in today. I've got a review for you today of another Greek New Testament that I don't think has ever been reviewed on YouTube. At least if it has, it's not very easy to find. So let's jump right into it. Okay, what we have today is the Greek New Testament according to the majority text by Hodges and Farstad. And it's got some unique features. So we're going to go through several things. We're going to talk to you about the font size and just some of the basic physical qualities of this book. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to talk to you about the text itself, how it differs from the Robinson Pierpoint text. And we're also going to talk about just two quibbles that I have with it. I've been thinking about maybe getting this one rebound, but these two quibbles that I have might hold me back. So let's just jump right into the review. So as far as the font, you can see on my right here is the Hodges and Farstad text, and on my left is the Tyndale Greek New Testament. The font is a little bit bigger than a Tyndale Greek New Testament, if you have that one. And I'm going to say it's probably between a 10 and an 11 point font, somewhere in there. They say the Tyndale is supposed to be about a 10. This is slightly bigger than that. On my little card here I've made, this is all using Times New Romans. And like I said, it's somewhere around maybe a 10 or an 11 point font. One of those strange things that they do in this that I don't really care for is the question mark instead of the semicolon. Just strikes me a little odd that they do that. You can see the font is very blocky. There's no italicized format, but overall it's very, very readable. It's a nice size font, and so on the font size it's really nice. The binding on this is very nice. It's a nice sewn binding. It's not a cheap glued binding. When you open it up to different sections and different signatures, you can see that it's a very nice sewn binding. So it's made to be something that will last you a long time as far as the binding. And I'm all the way in the book of Revelation here. Comes up just a little bit there, but it'll open basically flat. So that's really nice on the binding. Hey, go ahead and we're going to get into the rest of this review, but let me know in the comment section below. I meant to ask this on the front end of this video, but what Greek New Testament are you using on a daily basis? And let me know why. Drop a comment below and let me know. So let's get back into the review. As far as size and portability, it's pretty comparable to Tyndale Greek New Testament, except it's a little thicker. It's about 5 1/4 wide, and it is about just about 8 inches tall, but it's rather thick, and you can see the thickness difference here between a Tyndale, which a Tyndale Greek New Testament in my opinion is pretty thick. So on the thickness it's probably it's about maybe 1 3/4 inches, something like that. What's interesting about this is the page layout is exactly the same as what they had in their, this is the actual first edition. Same book, but this is the first edition of it. And you can actually see there's a thickness difference there. And I'm kind of wondering, they must have used maybe a thicker paper on this one. But like I said, it's not too thick to be awkward, but for a Greek New Testament, it's pretty thick. So on size and portability, it's okay. Definitely not huge, but a little thicker than what I would like. So the paper quality on this is really high. It's pretty well comparable to the Tyndale Greek New Testament. Maybe the Tyndale feels a little bit better. But judging by the thickness of this, I can't imagine that the paper quality is much thicker on the Tyndale. I don't know how it would be. But yes, very good paper with very little bleed through. So let's talk a little bit about the text itself. It's been put together by Zane Hodges and Arthur Farstad. Both of these men have passed away. And it's very, very similar to the text put together by Robinson and Pierpoint. Where it differs is they have a slight different methodology. And this really comes through especially in the book of Revelation. But I want to tell you, for my purposes, the main difference between the Robinson Pierpoint text and the Hodges and Farstad text is where it comes down to the apparatus. So I'm going to open up here first the apparatus of Robinson Pierpoint. The differences in the Robinson Pierpoint text between it and the Nestle-aland editions are not clearly marked in the text itself. So I've done my own highlighting here so that you can see differences. However, where there is a split in the Byzantine tradition itself, it's marked in the text itself and then given in the margin. What they've done different in the Hodges and Farstad text is that these are marked in a very similar way as you would find in your Nestle-aland edition, and it's actually clearly marked in the text itself when there's a difference between itself and the Nestle-aland edition. I believe this is in comparison to the 26th edition, but it actually has two apparatuses, if that's the right way to pronounce apparatus when it's in the plural. But anyways, the first apparatus will tell you the difference between where the majority text itself splits, and the second apparatus will tell you the difference between itself and the modern critical editions. And one of the distinctions between this, besides just marking where it splits, it also gives you manuscript information as well. So that symbol right there represents a particular group of manuscripts which have been generally designated Alexandrian. And, they've also got the papyri, some of the papyri mentioned. It's limited, it's not exhaustive, but it gives you a good sense where the flagship manuscripts that support the critical edition land with this. Because this is actually interesting, because there are times where the Byzantine tradition itself will actually be supported sometimes by very, very early evidence. And that's very interesting to know, especially when the modern critical editions deviate from the Byzantine tradition. So I'll give you one example that I ran into the other day. It's a very simple one. It's in Galatians. Look at that peri there. That's in the majority of manuscripts, but you'll notice that one there. You come down here to the second apparatus, the first apparatus, and you can see how this splits off. Actually, this reading here is supported by P46, Codex Sinaiticus, and Codex Alexandrinus. And then you can see that it's in opposition to Vaticanus, also the Textus Receptus, and the critical edition. So that's just some interesting information to have while you're reading along. So basically, you've got three editions in this particular edition. It shows you deviations from the majority text and the Textus Receptus, which the Robinson Pierpoint does not show differences between itself and the Textus Receptus. And it also shows you differences between itself and the Nestle-aland text. So while I don't think the apparatus itself is as good as the one I showed you, and I'll try to leave a link up here. That might get turned around to where it's up over here, but I'll try to leave you a link so you can see which Byzantine text I think has the best textual apparatus. But this is a very nice, handy edition, and it's got a very nice apparatus. It's a very interesting critical edition between. I should say it's a very interesting critical edition of the majority text or Byzantine platform, and most of the difference between this and this are shown in the apparatus of this one. So overall, I think it's pretty neat how they've done the text and the apparatus on this. It's kind of a shame that Nelson is no longer has this in print. I only have a couple quibbles with this that would make it a lot better for me personally, is I wish that there was more margin space right here that I could write in. And then I also wish that it wasn't quite so thick. It's as thick as pretty much, actually in this case it's thicker than a regular Bible that I have. So, I mean, if you're just going to use it by itself, it's not a problem, but if you want to have your regular, you know, English Bible next to you while you're studying or whatever, it's just kind of, yeah, like I said, I just wish it wasn't so thick. Of course, those are always a trade-off. So, as we said before, I mean, the paper quality on this is quite good. It's got great paper, so you've kind of got to make a trade, you know, are you going to have a thin book with cheaper paper or thinner paper, or are you going to have a thick book with really good paper? So those are the couple quibbles that I have. Well, guys, if you found this video helpful in any way, if you're interested in the Greek New Testament, theology, biblical languages, I would encourage you, if you'd like to, hit the subscribe button. I'll be putting out more videos like this and in regards to reviews and some of my thoughts as I'm reading through the Greek New Testament. So if that interests you, like I said, hit the subscribe button. If you found any value at all in this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.